I don't know about you, but I need to turn this frown upside down. If you want to see me swatch for fun, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène and welcome back, or if it's your first time here on HMM Makeup, welcome. Very happy to have you. I am going to have a little swatch party with you today if you decide that this little goodie is good enough to watch the swatches. I know this has been out for a while. I did see the most recent time I went on the Pat McGrath website, it was still available. I hope that's still the case. I need a swatch party. Swatching is my absolute favorite thing. I need some joy today. And I'm pretty sure this is going to do the trick. And if that's not enough, my next video is going to be this one. So we have a little bit of a swatch fest going on. Now this is, or happening imminently. So this one is the Celestial Divinity, I believe, yeah, Celestial Divinity. And it has the color names on the back, and I'm not going to bother with the color names as I'm swatching. I think that given the palette doesn't have names on it, I'm just going to go based on the rows and call it a day there. I think that the palettes were very much arranged in sets of 6. So this is a set, this is a set, and this is a set. So that is my intention as far as swatching. I'm going to treat each set of 6 as kind of a grouping in the swatching. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about swatch or color names during the swatches, but I will put those swatches as I'm swatching them on screen for the first swatch so that at least we can follow along if the color names, the shadow names are important to you. I don't want to, just because I want to have fun doesn't mean I don't want to give you information. So I will do my best to do that. And I'm going to do, I've never done that before, I'm going to try to fit 18 shadows on one forearm. I don't usually attempt that. The most I've ever done I think is 16. This is 18. So I've got an extra challenge in this, this video. And I'm pretty happy with starting with that first one. It seems to go quite well with the eye look that I have on today. So let's get going. Again, 3 at a time is what I'm going to be doing. And I have to admit, I'm not super crazy about this restriction for the palette to go all the way down. And I would love to hear, if you have this palette, have you removed these? And if so, how did you do it? Because I would rather not damage the palette more than I have to. So if you have any tips or tricks, I would love to hear. All right, I've talked enough. Let's put these fingers to use, and I'm going straight in on the first column. So here we go, the first 3. My hands are very dry. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to start right here because like I said, 18 shadows is a lot. Putting them right next to each other. Mattes, oh geez, I'm gonna have trouble. I will not get 18 on here. I will do my best, but I will not get 18. They're just slipping and sliding all over. But I will double swatch, I always do. So apparently I think the 2 sets of 6 on the outer edges are the Star Wars 6 pans, and the ones in the middle are the new shadows that were added to this palette. I'm not happy with the middle swatch, so I'm just going to go and build up that matte again. Looks good on the finger, but it doesn't look great on the swatch, which mattes do tend to do that a little bit. And it seems like it has a white base, but it doesn't seem to show the color saturation on the swatch, despite the fact that it does show it on the finger. So based on this, I'm pretty sure that matte would show up nicely, but in the swatch, it does look like a troublesome matte, but mattes, out of everything, mattes are the ones that don't like to swatch all that well. So I'm not concerned. I think that it's a very nice color, and as you can tell, it's a color that I would definitely not hesitate to use. Okay, just wiping those fingers off, and we're going to go to the next column. And out of the three, I have to say I quite like this one. It is very much anti-pat type of finish. It's beautiful, a duochrome that's peach to pink. Not revolutionary, but it definitely has quite a bit of bling to it. Now we are going into this next column, and I do want to swatch that aubergine color quite badly. It looks great. Got a bronze to start, kind of a shimmery purple, oh, duochrome, purple bronzy, and then that eggplant color. Looks like it. Until you swatch, you don't know exactly what a color will look like. Yeah, it's a very deep aubergine with some sparkle to it. So let's do these next three. That is pretty, but to me, that's a very easy shade to make. It shows up in so many palettes. This is another duochrome, as I was mentioning. Kind of bronzy to purple, and now the third one that is very deep. Oh yeah, that is beautiful for a smoky eye. Look at that. I really like that one. Really like that one. It basically does not need a double swatch. Look at that. That is beautiful. But as always, look at that finger. I am going to double swatch because that's just what we do around here. And I'm just picking up a lot of the kick up, frankly, because I don't need to go very deep in the pan for these three. They really stuck on that finger. Wow. Yeah, trying to get all that palette on this one arm that's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Very nice. So far, this one's really neat. And then the couple of duochromes are pretty neat. This one looks familiar to me. This one looks familiar to me. This one looks familiar to me. But these three, not so much. So that's great. Okay, I'm going to wipe off those fingers, and we're going to get into column number 3. Okay, we are now going after this column right here, which I think is going to be lackluster compared to the other two, but let's see what happens. There is a definite gritty chocolate. It's like a rusty, almost between rust and burgundy chocolate matte. A very smooth kind of fuchsia, and this duochrome, this type of duochrome that is green and brown, I tend to really, really like. So those are the three here. I don't think the first two are anything that I would write home about. It's just a basic color in my opinion. That one has quite a bit to it, and it would go very well with that brown as I look at it. And then this one is of interest for sure. Yeah, that is the kind of duochrome that I really like. So a rusty base and that kind of shifting green. So these two would go really well together, and so would those two for sure. Okay, we're going to go in for a second go. Look at that finger. Yeah, the middle finger and the ring finger would look really good on the movable lid for sure. So I'm just going to pick up the kick up on the mat, that fuchsia type color, and that duochrome. They are very pretty. So this one quite utilitarian, but builds nicely. I do quite like this fiery fuchsia. And then that duochrome does not seem to require much building. All right, so we have that third column done, and these three would be some new shadows because we are past, that was the first column, second column, this is the third. So these are new shadows for her palettes that are in this Celestial Divinity. So as far as shadows, new shadows, we only have one more column of those new shadows, and then we're back again into the Star Wars collection. Okay, so here we go. We are into this column right here, and it looks like it's quite complementary to the one we just finished. I really am quite partial to the colors that I see here. So let's take a look at what happens with those. There's a light gold color that looks like a regular light gold. There's a very beautiful olive green, which I'm going to be all over, and then a dusty pink. Oh, and the dusty pink is pretty flaky. Look at that. I just lost a piece of it. All right, so let's see here. That's that soft type of gold color I was mentioning. And then we have that gorgeous olive green. That is a definite keeper as far as I'm concerned. And then that kind of dusty pink that looks a lot lighter on my skin than I thought it would. I just got rid of the excess, and let's go in for a second swatch of those. Especially the dusty pink, I think is going to benefit from a double swatch. The other two, I think you got the color saturation. I don't think it's going to change much. That dusty pink is really dusty. It holds true to its name for sure. All right, so here we go. I call it gold, but it's kind of a beigey gold. I really, really love that color. I know I've said it already, but boy, it's beautiful. And that kind of dusty rose. Okay. So far, it's a very interesting set of colors, and they're very different. So for this palette, it would be possible to do some very, very different style looks, which I appreciate quite a bit. I like this idea that you could maybe take a matte neutrals palette and this palette and be done and have a ton of options to go with. It might be a good travel palette. Now we are down to the last two, and I think I might possibly be able to fit it all. So this is the column that we're at, and again, this set of 6 is a Star Wars palette reintroduction, I guess, which really annoyed some people who went for the Star Wars collection and went out of their way to get it, and then all of a sudden it shows up again. I would be annoyed for sure. So that's the next one. That is beautiful. That one would look very good with this one too, I think, as a pairing. Okay, let's go with the second color. Now that is a nice orangey bronze. And then we have, that is a beautiful color as well. Those two would be a nice match as well, for sure. So let's get back in with these 3 and do a second swatch. She really wanted to get into purples in this palette for sure. I have an excess of purples at this point in my collection, I would say. Excess in purples. I will avoid purple palettes. I have enough. Wow, that bronzy orange, it builds up beautifully. Look at that. Very nice trio there. And the fingers. Okay, we only have another trio left. I'm going to make it. I've never been able to get that many shadows on one forearm. I don't think. I think 14 or 15 is as far as I've gone. Maybe I've done 16 once. Don't know why that matters, but it's nice to get a palette on the whole forearm, right? Is it just me? I just like being able to do that. So we have this last column right here. And this last one right here is very intriguing to me. The other two feel like shadows that I very much already have in my collection, but I could be wrong. That's what swatching is for, right? Swatching and application. So it's it makes me think of Fool's Gold, this first one. And then what does this one look like? It's hard to tell in the pan. Okay, this is another duochrome, kind of a fiery. It goes from fiery fuchsia to orange. Kind of an orangey rust color. Anyway, let's take a look. Oh yeah, these last two I think would look good in a single look. So there's the yellowish gold. Always looks good with fuchsia or purple. And then we have the duochrome. Oh yeah, this is a really striking color. And then the last one, which I was very interested in as well. Okay, so let's do a second swatch because it's not really fair to these to compare them to a double swatched set of other shadows. And all of these shadows, except for the mattes, are very tacky to the feel. So it feels like they will stick to the lid quite nicely. This gold is going to be absolutely impeccable on the inner lid. It's going to look so good. And I really do like this one, especially if you want to do a brown look, but you want that little extra edge. That purple in it is beautiful. And for a burgundy look, geez, that's beautiful. That burgundy, along with the olive green, I think would look so, so nice. Okay, so that is the whole set of swatches, and I want to show you the fingers one more time. Now, I don't think there's anything in here that is particularly revolutionary, but let's take a look at the whole set, and I'll give you a sense of which ones are my favorites. But that's influenced by what I already know I have in my collection, and everybody's collection is different. If you are looking for a single palette to have a wide variety, I do think that this would give you quite a wide variety. I don't really see a whole lot of duplication in here. I don't see a whole lot of repetitive look situations. There are not that many mattes. I mean, you've got one here, one here, one here. So to me, this feels like a companion palette. I mean, you can do looks, you've got 3 mattes, you can do looks just with this palette for sure. But it feels to me like I would use this palette as a companion palette with a lot of other palettes that I have from Pat McGrath or from other companies. For example, taking Celestial Divinity and pairing it with a matte neutral palette would be a beautiful match. Very much like I would use the Make Believe in Yourself from Tarte as a pairing with a matte palette. It's just a beautiful match to do. Now, intriguing colors, I am going to say, I know I'm going to love this one. This one is one that reminds me of a shadow from Colored Rain, so not super interesting to me. I do want to work with all the 3 mattes that are in this palette for sure. I like the somewhat transparent duochrome of this one. I like the kind of lilac brown of this particular shade. This one is gorgeous for a smoky eye, for going out with that little sparkle of purple would look really good. I think it's purple. Purpley pink, I guess, as far as glitter in here, or micro shimmer. This one I kind of have seen, and I've done a lot of pinks and purples lately, so I think I'm not as excited. This duochrome type is always beautiful. I have it in Urban Decay and a couple of other palettes. I think there's one in my Impulsive palette from Melt as well. So nothing revolutionary. So these 3, I would say right here, nothing revolutionary. I've talked about the mattes already. This olive green I think is gorgeous. This Dusty Rose matte, nothing revolutionary. Again, nothing here that's revolutionary. I would say that this one at the end is quite interesting. This one over here I've seen done before. So what really makes the palette for me right now? Of course, the 3 mattes so that it can be a standalone palette, but I'm going to say this one for convenience, this one because it's gorgeous, and this one over here. Everything else I would not have too much trouble finding in my collection, and I would actually challenge that Celestial Divinity would be similar to something that I can get from Colored Rain, and Colored Rain is a lot more affordable than Pat McGrath. So I'm happy with the range. I think they're interesting colors. I think I can do a lot of fun stuff. I think I could just grab that palette and do a week's worth of looks because there are enough mattes to support a lot of different colors. Not that you have to use mattes, but I do really like mattes in the crease. And mattes are friendlier as well to mature eyes if that is the case for you. You're concerned about kind of the crinkling effect of something more shiny. I could definitely do a lot. And I'm also super lucky to have a lot of fantastic shadows in my collection. And so now every time I bring another palette in, it's like, okay, value compared to what else I have in my collection. And I do think that Colored Rain is kicking Pat McGrath's butt on this one. And I'm thinking, for example, of Cheers to the Beauty and the Queen palette from Colored Rain are the two that just absolutely come to mind right away. Queen of Hearts, I think it's called. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So I think that this is a very nice array, but I think at $105, I think it was Canadian. I did get a discount on it, but still $105 for 18 shadows it's pricey. But for Pat McGrath, this is a discounted palette. So if you wanted to try the brand, try the formula of Pat McGrath shadows, you do have a chance with this palette, assuming it's still available, you have a chance to try quite a range of colors. So the risk of cost per shadow is reasonable, right? So 18 shadows, $5-ish Canadian per shadow, because the 105 I'm quoting is in Canadian dollars. I'm a Canadian YouTuber. But yeah, I think I'm repeating myself. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to say I'm happy that it is in my collection. It's probably the most affordable palette from Pat McGrath that I've ever purchased. And I look forward to doing some looks and giving you a more well-rounded opinion of this palette after having played with it for quite a while. If you want to see more swatching of Pat McGrath, you may want to take a look at the next video that I'm going to be uploading, because I'm going to be playing with this little 6-pan, which is the Mothership. Does it have a name? Mothership Rose Decadence is the next one that I will be swatching, so you can look out for that. And I will be stacking them, I will be comparing them, so you can see what this one stacks up as compared to the Celestial Divinity. See you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it every single time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, as always, take care.